Hey guys, welcome to another video. So today I'll be talking about motorcycle touring and especially focusing on solo touring. Now, I've always been spoken to a lot of people where the first thing they talk about is traveling alone for such distances, whether it is safe and how do I manage or what. So this is just to address the inhibitions that a lot of people have. So the first thing, traveling alone in a country like India, I don't think is much of a problem because I've been doing it for the last 20 years, and all I've seen is you are among so many people that even if anything actually happens, right, like let's say a breakdown or a fall, you always have people around. So it's only when you go off road or in a remote place that you're alone that if you fall or so, somebody reaching out to you is a problem. But thumb rule of off-roading is that you don't do it alone. You have somebody along with you. And otherwise, if you're touring on tarmac, right, there are people everywhere. Then the fear of even a vehicle breakdown. So a lot of people talk about this, that what if something happens and then if I have somebody friend along and then he'll help me fix it. That's again uh, thoughts, because these newer motorcycles, most when you look at it, right, are completely electronic EFI, and your in these things all you can do is you understand that there's a problem, diagnostic code, and you realize that, or you can reach down to the nearest service center and get that fixed. That you could do even if you're alone. Only friends that they would do is call a truck or a luggage auto, put it in there and take it. So this is something not a deal breaker, but if friends are there, yes, of course it's good to have. You have a gala time, and how you spend time you don't realize, but that does not mean going alone is a problem. So now especially if you take premium brands, right, these motorcycles don't have service centers in all small towns. If it's a Bajaj or a Honda, you have these service centers and you can always go down to some place and then still see that your motorcycle can be fixed. But the bigger brands are generally more reliable with better components that they last, and if you do your regular maintenance, and doing it alone is not a problem. And the next will be about carrying of tools. Yes, things can go wrong even if you're alone or even in a large group, and generally like what, a flat tire, most being tubeless tires now, all you can do is get a puncture repair kit, get an air compressor with you, have a 12-volt socket or connect it directly to the battery. So these small DIYs, if you start knowing how do you do it, then you're sorted. Because let's say it takes a lot of effort to fill a puncture, so all you do is fill air, ride on a little low pressure of 20-25 for to the next petrol bunk or the puncture guy, get it fixed from him. Nobody is asking you to do that difficult job. And that's one of the biggest things. And also that people talk about is traveling alone. What if you get robbed? Now, you know your route, you plan it out, and when you do, you know what are the areas where you ride from morning to evening and then cut out and stay back over the night, and then next day you start early in the morning. So those areas you take a call, be smart, plan well. So it's not that if you're going in a group that whoever is got to rob you there, they will all get scared, and it's not like that. Because in a group, right, of course the experience is completely different. It's nice, but at the same thing, in a large group the time spent on certain activities are a lot more. And especially if you're doing some places like a long trip, the northeast or Ladakh, so people think if I go 3 or 4 people it's much more easier and safer, no doubt. But those three have to be a really select people with whom you have ridden previously and the bandwidth and the frequencies match. If that doesn't happen, three will be singing three different songs. One would want to visit a certain place he's read on the net, one says that's not good enough, I don't want to go there. So these sort of differences creep up, which is bound to happen. It's natural because the information that one gets and somebody conveys to them, they think it's right. So each one does a survey and wants to go. So these sort of conflicts pop up, and especially if it's a long ride, these things are bound to happen. And the other things about solo is expenses. Yes, this is one of the things that why people actually prefer going 2 or 3 people. So the expenses kind of are, let's say, 30% or 40% more if you're doing it solo, because especially the stays. If you're staying, stay might cost you about 1,000 or 1,200, and if you're 2 people, it cuts into half. The food, you get to try different varieties, shared, split. So these are some things that are the benefits of going 2 people or three. But don't look at it only from a cost perspective, because if you're looking from a cost perspective, instead go in a diesel car. 5 people split works out to be really economical and safe, right? And 5 people who know how to drive, you can drive through the night. It's not to point out that these are the examples. So the cost is a factor, no doubt, which plays a role, but look at it from an experience that you get to discover yourself, that what are the things that you can adapt to, what not, the culture in different places that you travel, meeting, understanding. So all these things happen when you are alone, is because you got to plan in the morning. The next day you got to wake up at that time, get ready and leave. So you stick to a certain regime, because if somebody else has done all the planning for you, all you're doing is like a guest. Get up and ask the person, oh, what next, what should I do next? So that's a very easy thing. But trying to do this, you'll start realizing that you have a lot more skills than riding a motorcycle is a very small thing, because anybody can learn that art or that activity. It just takes longer to, let's say, practice and perfect it. But anybody can ride a motorcycle. That's nothing difficult at all. And in these solo trips, once you start doing, right, the kind of people that you meet, other bikers around, or somebody, even a simple shop guy, conversations that you have. So all these give you different perspectives about things that you've always seen or read in books. So first I would suggest is, even on a basic motorcycle, right, start doing trips of even, let's say, 200 kilometers one way. And while you're doing solo, you don't need to maintain a group pace. You don't need to do about 110 that everybody is doing. And people say that, oh, it's only a 100cc 150cc motorcycle, can I go so far? Yeah, you can. So this one that I have here, the R15, so the last year, me and my wife, both of us, we did about 10,000 kilometers, the northeast around Bhutan and all of that on a 150, although I had other bikes. So it's only the speed that will be different and comfort factor, but that is not something that will or should stop you from going out and exploring places, because that should be the primary thing as a motorcycling activity, that you go explore things rather than right now when I look at it, biking is used as that's the in thing. First, oh, you got yourself a fancy motorcycle, have you gone to Ladakh? Tick, oh yes, only then I am a motorcyclist out. But it's not. You can absolutely have even a 20-year-old 30-year-old bike, brand really doesn't matter. So it's just go out, even if it is 200 kilometers one day, just go out in the morning, ride at your own pace, and 90% of the times, right, the bike is really reliable and nothing happens. Even things that go wrong, there are always people to help you out. And if you learn a little bit of DIY, it's just a matter of 5 minutes to understand what's wrong with your motorcycle, get it fixed, or find a solution, an alternative, and keep going. So yeah, that's just generally that I want to talk about. And if you guys have any thoughts about this or any questions, just share it. Let me see if I can address that. Thanks guys. Bye bye.